one question will be if you think tribal communities here in the state of Wisconsin are at risk, and the second will be what your hopes for the future of this process. So let's start with the first, about the risk.
Okay, so
did you think that there are any risk indicators, or if you think that they are at risk?
I don't like the word at risk. I think because of broken legs of promise, we try to be strength-based. But I definitely, to use your terminology, at risk, yes. I mean, we see life loss, we see families break up, we see many social, economic, education, cultural indicators. I'm not familiar with all what the United Nations calls risk factors. I do know the Declaration of Indigenous Rights is something that we as researchers and evaluators desperately need to start using so we can start building an empirical body of knowledge around that. Some of it might be documenting, what are the indicators that the UN considers at risk, and then how do I start collecting that data for just maybe my tribe or maybe the 11 tribes in Wisconsin. So I wish I knew what they were. I could probably better speak to it. But in terms of life loss, life expectancy, job, poverty, dropout rates, highest per capita, losing our traditional ways for survival, for whether it's sustenance to live off the land or for our mental and spiritual survival of how to deal with conflict, dysfunction, loss of life. You have to learn your language, because in your language is where the knowledge is. You can't just go to ceremony. You can go to ceremony and learn stuff, but I can guarantee you when you learn the language, your life and your people are inside that language. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry. But what I'm saying is when we go and live in our language immersion camps and we live like our ancestors did and we have to cut wood just to have coffee, and when you're sitting there talking and learning in the language, I was told by my elder that everything we need is inside of us. We just got to figure out how to unlock it. So are we at risk? Damn right. We only have 3 living speakers that were born speaking our language left. And it's hard to learn from a dead language. So we're trying to learn everything that we can for, the Munsee, the Lenape. The Munsee has 3 tribes. Lenape is one of them. And so that's where our community is, up in Moraviantown, Canada. And yes, we're at risk. And I guess my hope is that as we continue to have language camps, as we continue to record and digitize what we know, whether it be our language or our teachings or whatever, that's locally what I'm trying to do. On a more state or global level, I try to hook up with projects where we're publishing book chapters or presenting on reports or using the United Nations or other Indigenous scholars' frameworks to get it out there more in mainstream, research and evaluation circles, whether it's a published literature or whether it's bringing it up during, the many different boards and committees that we're on. It's critically important, and I think it's critically important to be, like I said, situated in the middle of academia, or for me, in the middle of leadership and policy analysis. I remember on our ELPA listserv, somebody said, why are you bringing all this up? It should be on the Indigenous listserv. I said, I am an Indian in public education. I want to inform public education policy. That's why I stand here like a rock in the middle of the old river. And I'm not going to wear down fast, even though water's stronger than rocks. But anyways, so, my vision is that to hook up with more like-minded people, to publish some of this research, to present, to create more collaborative frameworks, to create more sustainable resources that can be shared. I'd love to have we don't have like a centralized, what would they call it, like a clearinghouse for the things we're talking about. I've written grants to the federal government to try to get this. So my vision someday is that we can have some kind of centralized resources. It might start out, hey, we got a rural business opportunity grant funded by the, U.S. Office of Rural Development. But if we can put the Indian business resources on Indianpreneurship or how Indians think about money or use money, that's like a little mini clearinghouse. But to get at some of these indigenous theories, philosophies, frameworks, methodologies, we don't have a centralized site like that. And dang it, I wish we did. You know, I don't know how to make that happen. My institution is too small, but you know, if I keep praying and I keep working hard, maybe someday the Creator will help bring the right people together to make that happen. You know, whether it's me grant writing, me evaluating, me contributing somehow.